It's a rainy day in Simpsonville, South Carolina. It's about 45 to 50 degrees right now. It's supposed to warm up on Sunday, and the rain's supposed to clear, and we'll be glad that that happens. I hope that you're having a good Saturday. I hope if you're a college football fan, you're rooting for the right teams, and having a great day all around. Chapter 16 of Luke. Chapter 16 of Luke. An interesting story about an unrighteous steward. A steward who did not take care of his master's money well. Listen to what the words say in chapter 16, beginning at verse 1. Now he was also saying to his disciples, there was a rich man who had a manager, and this manager was reported to have been squandering his possessions. And he called him and said to him, "What is this I hear about you? Give me an account for yourself, for you can no longer be my manager." Well, I wonder how many people God looks at and says, I've given you quite a bit and you're not a good manager, and so I'm not going to let you be my manager anymore. You've squandered it, you've been careless with it, and therefore I'm not going to trust you with any more. I truly believe that's the way God works in many, many cases. If we're faithful with what we have, He's willing to give us more. If we're not faithful with what we have, He doesn't give us any more. But in any case, this particular unrighteous manager was very definitely conniving and clever, because he decided, well, if I'm not going to be able to manage this money anymore, I want to make as many friends as I can so that I'll have a place to be when my master puts me out. So he went to all of the debtors and he reduced their debt significantly so that they would be his friends. The only problem with that is usually when somebody sees your dishonesty, they really don't want to be your friends anyway. But in any case, that's what he did, and continued to go around and reduce these debts so that he could make friends and be able to have a place that he could go when his master put him out. This is what Jesus said: he who is faithful with very little is faithful with much, and he that is unrighteous with very little is unrighteous in much. You see, it's our nature. If our nature is to be faithful and good stewards, then we continue to be faithful and good stewards. If we're not faithful, we tend to not be faithful and good stewards. And it says that the scribes and the Pharisees were watching all that was going on when Jesus was talking about this, and it says that the Pharisees were lovers of money. Now, we know that there's nothing wrong with money, but money can be the root of all kinds of evil. Anyway, these Pharisees who were lovers of money were listening to all of these things and were scoffing at him. Scoffing at him. Imagine that. And it goes on and says, "You are those who justify yourselves in the sight of man." Now, I wonder how many people do that. I wonder how many people put on the appearances to man that everything's okay and that they're doing what they're supposed to do. But he says, God knows your hearts. Oh, I love that part of the verse, because it has saved me so many times from bitterness, from anger, and from a feeling of I'm wasting my time. God knows the heart of man. And he says, for that which is highly esteemed among men is detestable in the sight of God. You see, when you see somebody that's unrighteous, especially somebody that seems to be prospering as a result of their unrighteousness, we get very upset. But, you know, God knows our hearts. He knows the sincerity of our hearts when we give 10 cents to Lottie Moon or whether we give $10 million to Lottie Moon. He knows our hearts. He knows our ability. And he is the one that ultimately will judge, not man, who may see us put a big envelope into the plate. But God sees the heart of the man that puts the envelope in the plate. Well, tomorrow's church day. Tomorrow is a day that we collect for missions in the Baptist faith. And I hope that you'll be very generous, because God knows your heart. He knows your ability. He knows what means you have. He knows how you've been managing all of his possessions, whether you've been squandering them carelessly or whether you've been a good steward. Let's be good stewards tomorrow. Let's go to church. Let's give our tithe and offering, and then let's give an offering to mission work around the world. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.